I don't know what you expected from the Cincinnati Bengals this weekend, but it was we had talked about before the NFL draft. I think I even put it as a chat poll question of the day. I said, would you rather take this safe pick, right? Someone that you think is probably not going to have a high of a ceiling, but you know will be a decent pro for at least a few years? Or would you rather go all in and say, you know what, we realize that, this might not be right, that might not be right, but the ceiling is high, and if we hit on them, they might be not just an all-pro, but one of the best players in franchise history, per se. Seems like the Bengals decided to go on the latter side of that more times than not. I'm not obviously a huge Bengals fan, so I'll turn it over to the Bengals fans that are in the room. I don't know how you felt, Casey, after the clock finally struck on Mr. Irrelevant. Once Mr. Irrelevant was drafted, how did you feel about the Bengals draft, Casey?
So day 1 was good. Day 2 was fine. I thought they were doing fantastic. I would say they're doing fantastic up until that 97th pick. They definitely picked McKinley Jackson based off of need. They definitely reached, in my opinion. But at the same time, I say that all the defensive tackles were being just swooped up. So they had to go get their guy before he fell any further. I probably would have reversed the picks to where my third pick would have been my tight end, whatever tight end I wanted. Probably wouldn't have been Eric All. And then 115 be McKinley Jackson, but whatever. It goes the other way around. The day 3 is where you really need to be able to just have a guy that you're banking on being a potential starter. And for most of that day, I thought, man, this is just a tough day 3 for the Bengals. It was felt like they didn't get any of the guys that I would have wanted, any of the guys that we liked. I mean, Audric Estime gets picked 2 picks ahead of us. That was a guy that we were targeting.
Nice. Yeah.
The one pick, the 7th round pick, Matt Lee, that to me was the best pick of their entire draft because of when it happened, what the position is, and how good he can be. He fell due to being a little undersized and playing in the American Conference, I believe, for most of the time. He was from UCF before he went to Miami.
Yep.
That's right. And then he played at Miami last year, and he was just one of the better centers in college football last year. I think he provides you depth in the interior offensive line, which I would have been dying to get earlier in this draft. I'll talk about some of the other teams that did that, like the Steelers and the Ravens, I believe.
Steelers suck.
But yeah, I mean, they went for the fences on their picks. If these guys end up playing out to what we think they can be, potential-wise, Eric All can be a great tight end. The Josh Newton, the cornerback, could be a fantastic third corner on our team.
Right.
The safety, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but there's a highlight of him just absolutely destroying Jaden Daniels. Very similar to Von Bell-esque, that one play with Juju Smith-Schuster in the middle of the field, that fumble. It's almost exactly like that.
Start of the dynasty.
Yeah, I can see where they're going with it, right?
Right.
And then Tanner McLaughlin, another extra just depth piece on the tight end room.
Right.
Overall, if they play out, if they hit, if these guys end up being what they think they can be, this would have been a really great draft. But at the moment, it's a ton of unknowns. A lot of guys with injury, a lot of guys that haven't played a whole lot, and that worries me. It worries me quite a bit. There's a lot of guys on the big board and my big board that were available that I would have taken over a lot of these guys. But
so if you were in the room, it sounds like Casey's trying to be nice right now because, as we all know, you don't really know until, 2-3 years into this really what your draft ultimately looked like. But yeah, Casey, I think it's safe to say that if we use the analogy the other day that if your significant other walks down the steps and asks how they look, you're not doing a very good job right now, in my opinion, of saying that you felt like the Bengals did a good job. However, you did give the open opportunity that they swung for the fences, and maybe they'll hit on a few guys. But fine, and they had a lot of guys on my board that they passed over. doesn't sound like a high review to me, Casey.
Well, here's the thing, too. The other reason why when I give out my grade for this draft, I'm going to grade it a little lower than probably a lot of people. They had these extra picks, and they didn't go up and trade for guys that just made sense to me. It didn't even matter if it was the second-round pick for Jerzon Newton. I could care less about that. You had 10 picks, and you used all 10, and you didn't really need to use all 10, in my opinion. Like, what are we doing drafting Josh Newton when our cornerback room is flooded now? We have Dax Hill, Cam Taylor-Britt, DJ Turner, Josh Newton, Mike Hilton. The list goes on. I just can't remember all the guys off the top of my head. It just seems like now that room is very, very full, and maybe that's what they want. They want to be very competitive there. They want the best guy available. In the tight end room, too, you don't need 5 tight ends. And we signed 3 guys this year, and I know Gesicki's not going to stay long. I know that Tanner Hudson's on a cheap deal, but I don't know. It just felt like you could have gone to other places for better value, better talent, and you could have used those picks to trade up if you wanted a guy. I'm looking specifically in like the 4th round here. They went with Eric All at pick 115, and maybe that's their guy. Maybe they really like what they see there, and they saw stuff from 2 years ago that they really, really like. But the number 1 tight end in this draft, or not in this draft, in the 4th round, Jatavion Sanders went 101. Like, if you really wanted the second best tight end, third best tight end, arguably, just package up your 6th round pick and go get that guy, right? They didn't do any of that. And maybe they were fine with letting guys fall to them, but there was a lot of talent there that they missed out on, if you ask me.
Listen, everyone wants to we talk about all the time, right? You want to do riskier things when you're the Cincinnati, like what's everyone say? I want to go all in. I want to do this. I want to be, and that's what the Bengals are trying to do, right? They take a lot of guys with very high ceilings, very athletic guys that have, quite honestly, injury concerns.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Yes, they're making riskier bets. Yes, they're gambling a little bit on these things. But they're doing it in a way where they're now stay with me here. They're doing it with so many guys that it seems unlikely that all of them fail.
Right.
Right? It seems like they're hedging their bets by doing it with so many guys, right? They have so much talent, so much athleticism, but once again, with injury concerns, that it seems like at least one of these guys are going to work out, right? Yes, I don't like the 3rd round pick for the nose tackle. Yeah, I know you had to make a move at some point. That was McKinley Jackson. But outside of that, like, I know everyone was concerned about Jermaine Burton's character issues or whatnot. And it's like, yeah, I mean, if we want to give the Cincinnati Bengals crap for not being able to develop offensive line, let's give us credit where it's due. And we hit pretty frequently on wide receivers. In fact, over the last 15 years, I can think of one off the top of my head that we use a top 3 pick on that didn't turn out to be a pretty good pro, and that, of course, was John Ross. Other than that, hit pretty considerably. So we'll give credit where credit's due. Chris Jenkins, a lot of people like that pick.
I do.
Like, right? I mean, it's you're getting a cornerback in Josh Newton, who before injuries derailed his collegiate career was thought to be a pretty high prospect. Like, you're getting athletic guys. You're getting guys that have a high ceiling for a team, and this is where I said I want the Bengals to hit on one of these late-round guys. They did so with high-ceiling guys late in the draft, and that's what I like. That's what I like, where I'm trying to put a positive spin. And I don't watch tape. I don't even necessarily watch a whole lot of college football. So all the information that I'm getting about these picks, I'm just getting it from other people. People are telling me, hey, this guy's athletic. Hey, this guy's a good pick. Hey, this guy's a risky pick. This guy's got injuries. All that, I'm just feeding it in. And I'm just taking in that information and saying, all right, well, this is why I like it. This is why I do it. That's where I'm basing my opinion off of it. And I'm okay with risky picks at this current iteration on a Bengals team that already has 21 of 22 spots. Like, we don't need to fill a starting lineup. We're going for depth, and we're going for big pieces in the future.
Yeah, if you're looking at what happened in this draft cycle, I think the best things that you can take away from it are we got a lot of depth at certain areas where we get a lot of injuries at. Defensive line, corner, and I guess receiver, Jermaine Burton. But you needed that third target anyways with Tyler Boyd leaving.
Right.
My what would I have done discussion without, if we want to get into that just really quickly, the McKinley Jackson pick, I would have waited a while for that one. To me, I would have double dipped at receiver, which is crazy because I was so against it earlier. But if you looked at who was available on the board,
Troy Franklin dropped.
Troy Franklin, man, like that, you would have had your receiver room solved even after T. Higgins left. Like, yes, it's a pick for next year, or one of those guys competes for receiver 3, and then next year receiver 2, however you want to look at it. But man, you're already investing into that's why it's so confusing, is that this draft is so, like, they got needs with Chris Jenkins and Jermaine Burton, and then they like turn around and do a lot of things that are like for the future, like the corner, like the Eric All pick. It's just like, are we really going all in this year to get guys that can help us out now, or are we getting guys that will help us out in the future? So that's where I'm a little confused, is if you're doing for the future, there's much better value there at 97. There was better value there at 115. If you're going for now, I mean, I guess swing for the fences, but be consistent, right?
What would you give the grade? Your official grade?
I'm gonna say B minus.
B minus.
Fringe C plus.
Yeah, I think I go to the C range. I felt like some of those picks were a little bit of reaches. That's okay. I mean, that's okay. Like you guys said, I don't think they were really addressing for next year specifically impact players right away. I don't think that was their goal going in, and that's clearly what they drafted. There's the wide receiver from Alabama. He's going to be really good. I firmly believe that. I think Mims will be good if he can stay healthy. Obviously, if I've watched the Reds too much to know the if he can be healthy thing. I know how that plays out, but if he can be healthy, I think he'll be very good. I give it like a C. I give it like a C grade. Readeroo?
A+. I thought it was the best draft in the entire NFL. Listen, everything that the Bengals needed to do, they did exactly that. I don't know. Wait and see. We'll wait and see. Listen, everyone wants to make fun of everything about the draft, right? We always hype up these quarterbacks. We always do this. The one thing that you legitimately can make fun of when it comes to the NFL draft are grades. Go look at every single year of grades and post-draft grades and go see how it matches up to how it actually turned out. Very rarely is it even close.
Right.
Is it even close? So if you want to make fun of anything with the National Football League's draft, it's the fact that we have to play teacher and give a grade at the end of it.
I agree.
A lot of the critics liked it, though. Mel Kiper gave it a B+. I thought everybody was in that A- B+ range that I saw.
Because of athletes. We took athletes. We took injury-prone athletes.
Yeah, that's the other positive spin you can have on it, is they went against their norm and just picking athletes this time, which is just, we've been dying for them to just pick guys that were above the 70th percentile. Like, that's usually who they go for. That's the guys they like, and it's just enough was enough. They finally got Amarius Mims, guys like Matt Lee in there. I'm pretty sure that Eric All would have tested like a phenomenal athlete if he tested. Jermaine Burton was a 90th percentile athlete. So I mean, like, I don't know if we're going to go into the other teams eventually, but if you're looking at the positives, the Bengals broke a lot of trends this year.
Right.
They broke a lot of trends, and that's a good direction to go towards.
It's pretty clear that the Bengals had the best draft and the Ravens, Browns, and Steelers had the worst draft.